unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Teofimo Lopez versus VASYL Lomachenko unification is said to be verbally agreed upon. Oof. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash app, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus. We working. The link is in the description of all my videos, and it helps the channel. Now, they're saying that a fight with Lomachenko that was discussed, should the winner, or should Teofimo win or Richard Commey, which Teofimo defeated Commey second round knockout. Very good performance, brilliant performance by the young Teofimo, and it was a coming of age fight for him, and they were slating the winner of that fight to face Lomachenko. And Lomachenko said on his YouTube page, basically the deal is verbally agreed upon in principle, and you know, they probably have to finalize some more stuff. So it looks like we should get that in the spring, summertime of next year, which is great news for me and great news for the world of boxing. Teofimo said this to ESPN: just tune in next year. I'm gonna beat Lomachenko. I'm not gonna have a 126 pounder come out here and try and take over on me. I'm a big guy, and that's just it. And it's not about right hands. I'm not a puncher. That's the thing. I'm smart. Those shots I landed, they're placement shots. You know, referring to his knockout of Commey. They're not shots, oh, let me just close my eyes and throw. No, you place your shots. You see them and everything like that. You talk about the movement and the things that he does. Those things, you end up dissecting all those things. Whether it takes a few more rounds, it will come and catch up on him. Loma is on his way out. I'm on my way in. No, he's a little man. He's coming up to my division. I'm already out to 140 pounds soon. So I might as well finish it the right way with a bang. I'm doing something right. Teofimo went on and said, there was a lot of shots that I could see that were open, but I just seized the moments when I saw he had a twitch and he was going for the same shot, and we threw at the same time, referring to the Commey fight. But I ended up beating him to the punch, and I moved my head slightly more than he did, and it clipped him. My father told me in the first round, you got to pressure him. You can't fight him on the outside. You got to go inside, and you got to control the pace. When he starts getting comfortable, Richard Commey starts fighting at his own pace and landing his own shots. I disagree on one thing. You may say that Lomachenko is pound for pound, but if we're saying pound for pound is champion, but he is a champion. But to me, I believe I did win a world championship. That's what everyone was looking forward to. It can't be a big fight without Teofimo. And he says, I think I'm a champion. To your eyes, absolutely. I have him second or third. I don't know. Talking about Lomachenko. But I will be ahead of Lomachenko. Me and him, he has 3 belts, and I have 1 going into this fight. So the winner's the king of the 135-pound division. Winner takes all. Listen, I love the attitude from Teofimo Lopez. I really do, and I've liked it for a while. I told you. And it's funny how boxing works. You know, you look at people who have, you know, come out when I made comments about Teofimo. Like, I'm like, hey, check for this kid. He looking kind of nice. You know, people ridiculed it and they said, oh, he hasn't done anything. The kid hasn't done ish. Why are you so high up on Teofimo? And then he knocks out Richard Commey. Everybody's on his dick. You know, it's just funny how that works. You know, like people get praised, old media praises fighters, and as soon as they step up in competition, we see, you know, they're not who they were depicted to be from old media. Meanwhile, I feel confident in my picks that people to watch for are really, truly people to watch for. And when those moments come to them, and you know, the politics and the landscape of boxing, it doesn't always come straight away. But when it does come, it shows that usually, more often than not, the new media picks, the people I told you to watch for, are here for some time, or they rise to that occasion. I remember years ago, before Bradis Prescott, I told y'all to check for Terrence Crawford. I locked in, caught on to him well before, when he had dreads. People didn't even watch his fights. And I told you to watch for the kid from Omaha. Fast forward to the future, I think that was a good pick, you know. So I like what I'm hearing from Teofimo. He sounds confident. Lomachenko is definitely not a slouch. He's a 2-time gold medalist. But me personally, I don't see what ESPN and some of old media, like the way they outline Lomachenko's skill and craft. I don't really see what people are talking about. So this is a great fight, so Lomachenko can show me, because I see this being a very tall order, beating a young strap. I mean, when can we say somebody who's a boxer puncher, not just a meaningless puncher, someone who hasn't had their heart ripped out yet in boxing? When is the last time Lomachenko fought someone like that? You know, Luke Campbell, he's solid, gold medalist, but amateurs are amateurs. Luke Campbell had already lost twice, and he had already lost to a guy that Lomachenko had also beat in Jorge Linares. You know, it was a good fight, but Lomachenko, he had trouble with Linares, and so did Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell did fairly well, but he also got dropped by Linares, and he lost to somebody, Ivan Mindy, you know, who's like a domestic level fighter at best. This is all before he even stepped in the ring with Lomachenko. You know, this was Luke Campbell. Teofimo, he's coming off a brilliant best win of his career, where he's now a champion. His confidence should be high. He's undefeated. He's been, you know, went viral with the Heisman dances and the Fortnite dances and stuff like that. So he's embracing the fame. His father is a confident talker and believes in him. So he got a good thing going. So Lomachenko, to beat a guy like that, you know, he's going to have to put it all together, because this is, in essence, and I'm not comparing Teofimo to Canelo, but it's similar to when Mayweather fought Canelo, in the sense of you have somebody who's in their 30s, and trust, Floyd was like 37 when he fought Canelo. Canelo was 23, but the paradigm is kind of similar. You have a rising star who's in his young 20s, and then you have somebody else who's about 30, young 30s, and considered the more veteran fighter. Even though he doesn't have that many pro fights, he has a lot of amateur fights. So we're going to see what happens. It's that simple. We'll see what happens. But he's going to have to actually, like Floyd took Canelo. He took a piece of Canelo's heart right then and there. Canelo had to go back to the drawing board and reinvent himself. Luckily, he was young enough to do that. And he had the mental strength to do that. But Floyd embarrassed Canelo. So we'll see if Lomachenko can embarrass Teofimo. I think it's a really good fight. Again, as far as what old media says, I just don't see it. You know, I think Lomachenko is good, but people act like Lomachenko doesn't get hit. I've seen fights where he gets hit. I've seen fights where he, at the end of the fight, look at the Pedraza fight, his face is marked up and marred up. Even the fight with Miguel Marriaga. Marriaga was coming off a loss to Oscar Valdez in a lighter division, moved up, and still, you know, bruised up and tattered up Lomachenko's face. So you're dealing with a big lightweight in Teofimo, who sparred with Devin Haney, sparred with you guys, and bigger guys and stuff like that, or equal size guys. And he sparred in the Mayweather gym. He could box and he could punch and he can counter. You know, he has power in both hands. He has confidence of an undefeated fighter. This is just, shout out to Top Rank. You know, if they announce this fight, I'm all for it. This is an extremely good fight. And I've been looking for a fight like this for Lomachenko, because they keep saying he's #1 pound for pound. But a lot of his opponents, to me, have been, at the time he fought him, you know, he was clearly the favorite. Plus, he has a loss to Salido. Like even Gary Russell. I think Gary Russell, he's like kind of like Dominic Breazeale. When Anthony Joshua fought Dominic Breazeale, Breazeale hadn't really done anything. You know, Breazeale was coming off a bad performance with Amir Mansour where he got dropped, and Amir Mansour had a freak accident where he bit his tongue and was swallowing blood, so he couldn't continue. But that's when Joshua fought him. By the time Breazeale fought Wilder, years had passed, and Breazeale had actually had some credible wins and shootouts and stuff, like with that African dude, Azugi, or, you know, I don't know how to pronounce the dude's name. And an Olympian, Carlos Negron, he had pretty much a shootout with him. I covered that fight, and he knocked him out. That was an Olympian, Puerto Rican Olympian that he knocked out. So by the time he fought Wilder, it was more impressive because Wilder got him out of there in one round with his power, and Breazeale was on a win streak. Like he had stopped Eric Molina, stuff like that. So he was #1 rated, and he had done something. Even Gary Russell at the time he fought Lomachenko, what was his best win leading up to the Lomachenko fight? In fact, it was Lomachenko was one of the best people he fought, and people after. That's where Gary Russell did his best work. But at the point, he hadn't really fought no one. So it was kind of a learning experience for where they were. Lomachenko's style just beat Gary Russell. But Gary Russell knocked down Lomachenko and didn't get credit for it. But, you know, that fight's in the past because Gary Russell's still a talent and a talented fighter. But he definitely did. His resume grew. Escandón and Johnny Gonzalez and Joseph Jojo Diaz. But that all came after the Lomachenko fight. So you have to look at who he was when he fought. Like when Mayweather fought Canelo, Canelo had already beat Josecito Lopez. He had already beat Shane Mosley, Baldomir. He had already beaten, and he had just fresh off the Austin Trout victory where he knocked him down. So that's different. You got to always put in perspective of who the fighter was at the time they fought. You know, when Margarito fought Sergio Martinez, another prime example. Martinez, you know, for all intents and purposes, he was still learning, and he wasn't as good as he later became. And, you know, that's just boxing. Timing has something to do with it. But with this fight, Teofimo Lomachenko, the timing is just right. Teo's a champion. That's what Lomachenko said he needed to do. He got a belt. Now it's on. You know, Lomachenko's had more difficulty at this division too, not being way bigger than everybody. When he was at featherweight, he was significantly bigger. He had fought in the 130 pounds in the amateurs, so he was way bigger than the 126 pounders. You know, even the Rigondeaux fight, I thought Rigondeaux could beat him despite the size disadvantage, but it was, you know, he was too much for Rigondeaux. But Rigondeaux, I've told you, he's a person that can fight at 118, and I told you that, and he later dropped back down to 118 or whatever, 120, whatever he fights at now. So that just proves my point. But Teofimo, you know, there's no excuse. The only thing I do not like about this is the franchise titling of Lomachenko. That's the only thing, because had it not been for the WBC and this whole franchise belt and, you know, the WBC being asked to franchise Loma from Top Rank, that's what the WBC are saying. So that's what I'm going to go with. Had it not been for that, then guess what? Lomachenko would have the WBC belt, and then the fight would be for undisputed. Now I can't really view this as it's a unification. This ain't undisputed, especially with Devin Haney had the belt, and then now Javier Fortuna is fighting Luke Campbell for the belt, you know, and then Devin Haney's supposed to have first dibs on the winner. So if there's potentially, even though Lomachenko beat Luke Campbell, Lomachenko didn't beat anybody for the belt. It was for a vacant belt. So, you know, it just created confusion. He fought for a vacant belt, and whoever beats the Javier Fortuna, Luke Campbell, if they then fight Devin Haney, then that'll be a signature fight. And then Lomachenko, Teofimo would have to beat that person to be undisputed in my eyes. Let me know what you guys think. Really great fight. I can't wait, but I do think Lomachenko's there to be hit. People act like he doesn't get hit. You're going to have to watch out for Teofimo's power and his ring IQ. I think he's smarter than what people think. Lomachenko be jumping in and trying to do angles. You just have to time and punch with him. Like, I always surmise that You know, this is going to sound crazy to some people who don't know ish about boxing, but guys like Danny Garcia at 140, when he was at 140, guys like Lucas Matisse, guys like Maidana, I think they would give Lomachenko hellacious problems. And those are all different styles, but I all see them having power, and they have a style that would give Lomachenko, like Danny, he's really good with his timing. You know, you might get him for some rounds on some speed stuff, but once he gets a read on what you're doing and how you're jumping in, how you're coming in, Lomachenko, to me, he jumps in too much. You know, it's the same reason Pacquiao got knocked out. But the difference is Pacquiao is more of an anomaly to me than Lomachenko, because Pacquiao is super fast with power that's carried up to these higher weight classes. So he's just a different threat. He's also a southpaw, but he has more power, and he has I think he has a better chin. You know, I really feel Pacquiao has a better chin, because I've seen Pacquiao get hit by Keith Thurman flush and then bang his gloves together and, you know, keep rocking on. But Lomachenko, the thing is, a lot of people, it's almost like they were intimidated by the aura. I think people are starting to slowly like catch on to it now, but they weren't punching with him. So he wasn't even getting hit with shots because he was too fidgety, and you can't just let Lomachenko have his way and set the tone and pacing and get off first. But if you punch with him and catch him, it definitely gets his respect. Because you know what I noticed? The Linares fight, go rewatch that. When Jorge Linares caught him and dropped him, all of a sudden, all that movement stopped. All that movement, just go watch that round again. Linares dropped him, and he wasn't doing all this hoppity, hip hop anonymous. You know, he wasn't doing all that jackrabbit and moving and angles and matrix and all this other stuff. And if you are flat-footed, then he's a totally different fighter. So I think Teofimo, as long as he doesn't freeze up in there, he gonna give Lomachenko mad issues. I would favor him, you know, because Lomachenko can't fight no flat-footed fight. When have we ever seen Lomachenko fight a phone book style? Bro, he'll get broken up like that. How you gonna have a shootout with Teofimo Lopez? You know, and I told you, Lomachenko, he's a gifted athlete, and once that athleticism slows up, he's gonna be a sitting duck, because I don't see him like Floyd Mayweather. That's why I never understood the comparison, and I'm giving up too much gyms, too much free gyms. I'm gonna start charging y'all. But Floyd Mayweather is a complete fighter. He has never had to rely on any one thing. Yeah, he was faster than guys, but even if he slowed up, he still had boxing fundamentals. He still had a defense. He could fight you, you know, with the Philly shell. He could fight you walk you down, and with the earmuffs, and, you know, he could fight you the peekaboo style. Bro, he does too much. He's a complete fighter. Lomachenko, I think, relies kind of like the Roy Joneses, Sergio Martinez. He relies on athleticism. As soon as that slows up, or somebody nullifies it or makes you hesitant to jump in, then I don't think he's going to be the same fighter. If he's fighting flat foot, I mean, who could picture him in a phone booth war like Spence Porter? I've never seen that from Lomachenko. So he would have to show me that he got dog like that to be in the trenches like Errol Spence was when Sean Porter was bringing it to him and staying to his chest. I don't see that. And against a guy who's bigger and stronger than Teofimo, I don't know if Lomachenko would be able to hold up. So Loma, he has a chance to win for sure, but it's going to be based on what he always does, which is a lot of movement and stuff, and, you know, trying to frustrate Teofimo, to discourage him, and he's getting his shots off and grows tired of getting hit and stuff like that. But very good fight. I want to give you guys a good breakdown. Let me know what you guys think. It looks like it's coming. No official announcement. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.